Hi everybody, I thought this week I would show you some different types of figures, some 2mm irregular miniatures for a project I've been building for quite a long time for the 30 Years War. So these are recently completed 2mm Spanish for a game I'm putting on for the guys in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to zoom in and just show you some of the bits and pieces I've done, and then a future video will show you my 30 Years War 2mm Swedish stroke Protestant army, which I built up originally beforehand, and I'll also touch on some of the rule sets that I'm looking to engage with to play with these figures. So first of all, we'll do a little scroll in, or zoom in on the figures. So these are some of the Spanish cavalry. As you would expect, these will predominantly be carbine stroke pistol armed cavalry in this period. And then we go into the tercios themselves. So what I did is I used some of the Forlorn Hope blocks from irregulars along with the tercio blocks, just to add a bit of flavour onto the base. So we've got the Forlorn Hope pieces here and here in the same colours as the main tercio block. So I'll just come over the top of that. Apologies for the light, but you can get a flavour for how that works. Again, I'll zoom in on these bases a bit better with the other camera, but I've done 4 of those on the same basis. And then we've got some more Spanish horse, so I've again used the figure blocks, so you've got 2 on each side and then a little command stand in between. Again, for me it just adds a little bit of character to the base. Then we've got a command stand, and then some detachments. So these would be things for Forlorn Hopes, or they could be used in defensive positions where they've been allocated into farms, etc. Some field guns. Again, I've put some wagons on the back here, little supply pieces with a command stand, again just adding a little bit of flavour to the base. Really, I think with this scale particularly, you can really kind of pimp up your bases to try and make those 2mm figures stand out and look more attractive. And then we're back over. You'll note at the back some of the scenery bases I've done. I'm going to show you a little bit more of those now. So I picked up a hint from Mike Hobbs of Meeples and Miniatures fame, that he was doing terrain on CDs, and so what I did, I raided my old CD box, as you can see there, DVDs stroke CDs, and what I've done then is just built up the centre because I wanted some raised ground, and I've put a farm with some sheep in there, some tufts, and some again some wood pieces there from irregulars to make that one. Then we've just got a high piece of ground, again that was an actual hill that you buy, and then added that onto the base accordingly. Then I've got my camp stroke wagon park, various different types of tents, some Forlorn Hope bases I've just used for regimental sort of guards moving around, some dismounted figures, again just it looks like you've got pickets, wagons of different shapes and sizes, and some woods. So I was quite pleased with how they came out. And again at the back we've there got one of the nicer pieces, which is some of the built up areas, the actual town. We've got a windmill, as you can see there on the top of the hill. Over here we've got the river coming through underneath the bridge, and some of the farms and things as well. So Again, quite pleased with how they came out. Then I just had some additional woods and things to do, which I did on MDF bases. And then we've got another wagon park stroke camp here, which again I've just put the individual wagons on. All of these can be bought from irregulars, all these little bits of scenery, and then you can just sort of put them into the formation you want. So that's my 2mm Spanish 30 Years War army as it stands at the moment. Looking forward to getting that on the table soon, and trying out a couple of new sets of rules with these, and we'll see how they go. One of the things people often ask me is how do you do the bases for small scale, and these are very simply Bacchus 6mm basing system. So I paint the bases a shade of brown. In my case I use like a chocolate brown completely first. Then it's a PVA, watered down PVA glue spread all over the top, and I then sprinkle the basing sand over that, let that dry fully. Then you do the base, mid and top level coats on the top to give the dry brush effect, and then I add on grass tufts, and I also put some more PVA dots on to give you some of these sort of grass effects that you can see on the bases as well. What I do, particularly with 2mm, because they're fiddly, rather than putting them on lollipop sticks like I do with 6mm, I would glue the figures onto the base in the formations I want them before I do anything else. So I glue them on, I undercoat them in a grey or a black depending on what I'm doing, and then I do the base as far as the brown, the glue with the basing mix, but I also do the wash. Sorry, I forgot that, the brown wash that goes over the top of the basing mix before you start doing the highlights. I get that far, then I paint the figures, and then I do the highlights of the basing mix and the grass tufts and things finally. So that's how I get those done, and I've done exactly the same with the terrain pieces. So again, these have also had exactly the same treatment on the base. As I say, it's just a silver DVD stroke CD underneath, but that's how I do the bases. What I hope to do is show you my Swedish army in due course, which is quite a bit bigger because I painted that one first, and then realised, particularly with current lockdown, that I needed 2 armies to be able to do or set up a game for the guys online, so we can at least have a go. So hopefully I'll be able to do that on a separate video, and show you a bit more of that next time. So hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. If you've got any questions, please ask, and look forward to seeing you next time.